reason that I'm doing this video today is mainly in memory of a friend of mine that I met while I was working at a university. I've been working for 3 different universities over the past decade, and I've been mainly working on bursary support and fundraising. And during that time, I've met incredible young people who are full of hope and passion and visions to change our country for the better. One such person was a man named Michael Hendricks. And he was someone that if you met him, you would love him instantly. And he was going to be our next president one day. And when I had stand over his coffin 2 years ago, what really struck me was this bright, energetic, passionate young person had been under the pressure of so many invisible burdens and pressures. And unfortunately today in South Africa, in 2019, at the time of recording this video, the current stats show that 1 in 4 university students are diagnosed with depression. And so we have to ask ourselves, what is killing our young people? Because when I had to stand over Michael's coffin and realized that we had somehow failed to support, to nourish, to care, to provide guidance, to make him feel heard and seen and supported. I mean, he has amazing friends and family, and I know that it's unfair to think that there was something that we could have done. I understand it's a very complex issue, but I also know that every single person, including myself, has had those moments where we felt like we just couldn't go on. We could not see a different path. And so if we have to define what hope is really just having a positive imagination of the future. So hopelessness would be having a negative imagination of the future. And I know in my own life, when I'd gone through personal struggles, when there'd been relationship crisis, when there's been financial crisis, when I've had crisis in my career. Because remember, when we talk about wholeness at Whole Person Academy, we look at relationships, career, and finances and how they are all interlinked. Because you can't separate who you are from what you do. When I've faced those moments of uncertainty, when I faced those moments of feeling like I could not see a positive future, I could not see what the next step was, I felt like the walls were crashing in on me. And like I said, we all experience that. So why do some people find a way to push through those invisible barriers and some succumb to the temporary feeling of the walls crashing in? And so if that is you today, I just want to encourage you to reach out for help, because I've seen family members, friends, colleagues, students really deal with the aftermath of the loss of someone. We are always left asking the question, what could I have done to make this person know that they were loved, that they were valuable, that they were acceptable? And I know that we are fighting this battle on many fronts, but I do believe it's a battle that is worthy of the fight, because I do believe that our young people that are needed in this country to change things, to move things forward, are facing immense pressures. And I feel like we are failing them if we're not helping them to construct a more positive reality. In our country, we have some scary realities that young people have to deal with. Many of the students at universities now that are going into the workplace after graduation have had to face the reality of coming from fragmented families. And so we're not trying to blame parents for not being there for their kids. They also have their own struggles to go through. We get that. But we need to understand what pressure that puts onto an already fragile sense of self. In your 20s, that is where you're developing your sense of self apart from your family structure. And so if there's already a unshaky, unstable foundation, it's very difficult to build a strong sense of worth and identity and purpose even going forward. some of the other realities our young people are facing in our country, but I'm sure it is also in other countries around the world, the unemployment rate amongst our youth. So they put all this energy and all this effort to continue their university studies, to graduate, because they're told that once they get the golden key of graduation, it's going to open up the door to economic freedom. And that journey of the in-between graduation and actually finding a job and securing a job and being able to learn some very key life skills around how to manage money, how to actually structure their lives, how to actually bring their best to work, what the requirements are actually of the world of work. That gap is really, I think, where a lot of young people are falling through, and we need to build up a support to help them. My second message to people watching this video today that maybe know some Michaels in their life or are able to influence young people is to please try and take some time to actually sit down and talk to and connect with young people. I know there's a lot of barriers to overcome. They're trying to act like they have it all together. They're trying to make sure that they can survive somehow. But there is a way to get to young people if you can show them that you actually care and that you want to listen and that you are there to help them. In our coaching with graduates, I find this to be true so many times. They've done all this work to get through this process of actually graduating. In South Africa, we have a very unique situation where most of our graduates, many of them, in fact, are the first or second in their families to actually get a university qualification. And that means shifting from blue-collar work to white-collar work. And so you can already understand that because they don't have the social support in their immediate family circles, there is a sense of alienation. Also in our country, there is what we call black tax or family tax, where there's an expectation in the community to give back financially. And so young people, coupled with all the normal stuff of growing up and adulting and finding their feet, feel this massive obligation to support their families and to appreciate their support in terms of where they are now able to go to. And so if you are able to reach out to a young person and support them, listen to them, help to guide them, I would encourage you to do so. If you need some resources, please get in contact with us and we'll happily share some of the material that we're using to help the people in your life. We need to instill hope in our young people. We have to build a positive imagination of the future. There is good news to be shared out there. It's just that there is such a massive overload of all of the negative. But I do believe that if more voices like mine and yours start to speak up, starts to point mirrors, reflectors, big signs to say that there is a hope in the future for young people, I think that will go a long way in helping them to hold on for another day, for another week, to maybe possibly start seeing themselves in a future that they would love to inhabit. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below on how we can improve our videos, if there's any topics you'd like us to cover in future videos, or if you also would just like some material or resources on how you can support young people in your life and to help them start building a positive imagination. I know that it sometimes feels overwhelming and we can't always rescue people, but we can be an inspiration and a light to them and to try and help them to find hope where they need it. Thank you and have a great day.